Hello, everyone. Welcome back. So, reform are making grounds, okay? In the aftermath of the local election we've just had, they are winning. It's time to stop ignoring Reform Party as like some outside party, okay? No, they might actually be the real opposition to the Labour Party right now, okay? And with Reform Party winning, there's only one thing that actually means, okay? It means all we're gonna hear is immigration, immigration, immigration. Okay, that's all we're gonna hear. Because at the end of the day, there's nothing else they really offer. What else do they offer apart from immigration? Nothing else, exactly. But before we get into the video, it will be massively appreciated if you just drop a like on the content. It's really helpful. And also, if you want to see more content like this, subscribe. Let's get into it.
I think Keir Starmer's right. He is going further and faster. He is pushing the number of small boats to levels we've never seen before. They're up almost 50% on the same time last year, over 80% on the same.
That's all they care about. It's the boats, the boats, the boats. They don't care about which form of immigration actually puts in the most numbers in this country. They just care about the boats because it's illegal to them, even though it's not by the law.
Point in 2023. He's going further and faster and putting new taxes on businesses, national insurance tax rises, breaking Labour's manifesto commitments, going further and faster at taking winter fuel payments away from pensioners, smashing family farms up and down the country, refusing to give people a national inquiry on the rape gang. 75% of people in this country want to see that. Labour MPs refusing to give those girls the truth and justice they deserve.
Because the inquiry has already been done, that's why. I thought this was like an old news. The reason why there is no Labour inquiry into the grooming gangs is because the inquiry already has been done. That's why it's not being done again. It's so pointless. It's a lot of time, resources, energy. There's no point of doing it again. There already are recommendations to fix the problems. Why would they do another inquiry when they already have done an inquiry?
Think Keir Starmer looks hopelessly adrift from the rest of the country. And it's not just me, Michelle. The polling on Keir Starmer, his net rating, he's basically minus 40. That's where Meghan Markle is in the net favourability ratings of the royal family. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. Keir Starmer doesn't understand the mood of the country. He's making a lot of the issues that are driving people into reform, he's making worse. And what Labour MPs, lastly, have failed to realise is they're painting reform today as the radical extreme option, right? They haven't understood mass uncontrolled immigration is the extreme policy.
No one is literally putting policies for mass immigration. Like, no one is doing that, okay? The thing that they're talking about of like illegal immigration coming from the boats, right? Stop the boat, stop the boat. No one is literally putting policies in place that advocates for people to come, okay? Trying to stop it is a problem, but no one is out there telling these people to come, okay? No one's putting that kind of policies in place.
That's the extreme policy, and people in this country have had enough of it.
They certainly have. You guys get in touch with me on a daily basis. I can feel the fury that comes through each night at 6 o'clock when we are sharing this moment together. Is he the right man for the job, Keir Starmer?
Absolutely. After the chaos of previous Conservative prime ministers, it was absolutely necessary that the British people wanted someone who's calm, steady, wasn't going to react to every event in a dramatic or emotional way. And that's the right way of governing the country. There's a huge difference between opposition, principled opposition as it may be, and being in government.
Do you think people out there feel that the country is stable and calm? Because most people I speak to out there in the country are desperately concerned about the decline of Britain, about a country they no longer recognise, borders out of control, a state that recently is using taxpayers' money to make housing available for people who break our laws.
Using taxpayers' money is literally the government's funding, okay? Whatever the government wants to do, they have to use the taxpayers' money for the most part, because that's truly the only way they can truly get any form of funding, okay? So saying, oh, they're using the taxpayers' money, yeah, that's the government's money. It's the government's money, the taxpayers' money. That's what funds they're literally the whole budget, okay? Apart from taking loans. But then on the other side, You're saying that they're doing for illegal immigration. No, it's not illegal. The process, I don't know how many times you have to say this. The process isn't illegal. Okay? There's a reason why the reform supporters always claim, let's leave the ECHR. Let's leave the ECHR. The reason why they say that is because the ECHR allows this process. Okay? So if that ECHR allows the process, then surely it can't be illegal because the law has already allowed it, which is why you want to leave the ECHR.
Labour government, which, to be frank, doesn't seem like it's on the side of hard-working, law-abiding British people.
Well, I recognise your analysis and I understand why you're saying that, and I get that from...
These people are not coming into this country because they want to break the law and change the culture, okay? These people are way too in their own ideology, okay? People change countries. People migrate from one country to another based on economic reasons. They want a better life. That's it. That's all there is to it. Most people don't migrate for any other reason.
People, there's no doubt. But the solution is to make sure the economy grows, so there's more money available for health and education, more money for keeping people in work, more money to make sure that this country takes its rightful place at the international table.
That's the point. They never have any policies to actually be able to solve problems. Just immigration, immigration, immigration. Okay, how do we solve the NHS problems? Okay, like illegal immigration isn't gonna solve that. Okay, what are your policies? What else do you actually advocate for? They have nothing else. It's just illegal immigration. That's it. If we stop illegal immigration by the numbers, it's not gonna have any impact on the economy. Okay, nothing at all.
But the number one reason why voters across the Labour heartlands have just gone with Reform and Nigel Farage is immigration. It is things like...
No, it's not. It's the economy, okay? You mentioned it yourself, okay? The winter fuel allowance, all these other processes, the farmers' tax, okay? The inheritance tax on farmers. These are the reasons people are shifting, not because of immigration. People that are believing in immigration is a problem, they already are part of the Reform voters, okay?
Like the small boats. Labour does not have a credible plan for stopping the boats and fixing the borders. So where is Keir Starmer today saying, instead of just saying, I get it, how about leave the ECHR, provide an active deterrent, stop giving welfare to people who are breaking our laws, stop making housing available, moving to offshore processing.
It's exactly that kind of extremism that the British people reject. It's an extreme view.
Jeff, controlling borders is not extremism.
Leaving the ECHR would put us in the same boat as
Canada,
Russia.
Australia.
No, on the contrary. It would put us in a position of extreme reaction to the rule of law. And that's not something that any government has ever contemplated in the past. And the reality is that we need to ensure that we have not only a democratic society, but one that observes the rule of law.
I find it interesting when they say leave the ECHR. If you leave the ECHR, what happens? Do you think just because you left the ECHR, does that mean people are just going to stop coming on boats? No. People will still come on boats. What do you do then? What, you shoot them? Because right now you don't have any laws to actually follow anymore. What happens if you lose the ECHR? What? Just like Brexit did. You told us Brexit was going to be amazing. Okay? Well, clearly it ain't. Okay? Brexit was supposed to stop the immigration, but it hasn't. So if the ECHR is supposed to stop the illegal immigration now, what makes you think it wouldn't just stop it and just be like Brexit, which literally didn't do anything it was supposed to do?
And if you go back to your point about boats, everyone feels strongly about the boats. Everyone wants to see controlled immigration. But the reality is that you have to do that with a strong economy.
Jeff, I'm sorry.
Much more important.
I'm not going to take...
You were telling me about what people think.
I'm not going to take lectures about the rule of law.
I'm not giving you a lecture.
When we have a Labour government that is willingly allowing 158,000 people into our country whose first act on entering our country is to break our laws.
That's not happening, okay? People that are coming to this country are not coming here to break the laws, okay? That's just not happening at all. People that are coming on boats, they're being put in a secluded area away from people. These are not the people that are going out there committing violence. They're just not. Okay, the numbers, they can't work. When you check the crimes that's being committed, it isn't about people coming on boats. The numbers is just impossible. There are millions of people in this country and there are tens of thousands coming on boats. When you check the crime statistics, the numbers it can't work. These people can't possibly be the ones committing crimes. It makes no sense.
And then giving them homes and welfare, and you sit there giving me a lecture about the rule of law.
I'm not giving you a lecture about the rule of law. I'm telling you that we are a country that prizes democracy, prizes freedom of speech, but also has always observed the rule of law. And that is why it is important.
Exactly. They only care about rule of law when it benefits them. When they don't like something, it's like, why do we care about rule of law again? Yeah, we don't.
It's not the case that the British people regard the boats coming in as the most important issue, as you're suggesting.
Immigration is the second top issue in this country.
Exactly. So people are not moving around because of immigration. People are moving around because of the state of the economy. Thank you for actually clarifying the mistake that you made earlier.
Regard as the most important issue is economic security.
Exactly.
Making sure that
people are not moving to vote for reform because of immigration. That's not happening. It's because of economic reasons. That's why.
This country has a strong economy, that there are jobs for people, that there's training and education, a decent health service. Those are the things that matter to the British.
Jeff, I'm sorry, with all due respect, people out there are not just talking about the economy. They are talking about the hundreds of thousands of people coming into our country.
No, only you are. That's what you are doing, okay? The reform supporters, you guys are the only ones banging on about immigration. No one else.
Say they were just
who are breaking our laws.
What I said
what you should do,
that is more important.
What I think you are symbolising is why the Labour movement is so out of touch with the country.
See, the interesting thing in all this actual discussion is that reform supporters, they're so delusional that they actually think everyone is like them. People that are not voting for Labour anymore and they're moving to Reform Party, they think, oh, they're coming there because immigration. No, because that's what we want. It's like, no, you're the only one pushing that agenda. Reform voters are the only one constantly banging the drums about immigration. The reason why people are moving from the Labour Party to other parties like Reform Party is economic reasons. Okay, that's why. Not because there are 2,000 people that came on the boat yesterday. Okay, that's not the reason why. Okay, when you have things like the winter fuel allowance, like inheritance tax on the farmers, these are typically the reasons why people shift over. Okay, not because, oh, immigration, yesterday 2,000 people came into the country. No, that's not why. Okay, but I'm not surprised because that's all Reform got. That's everything they have. It's about immigration, 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 nothing else. But that's just my fault. Remember, if you like the video, drop a like. It'll be massively appreciated. If you want to have any difference in opinions, put it down in the comments below. And also, if you want to see more content like this, subscribe.